Welcome, everyone. My name is Jill Baird, and I work for the state of North Dakota. I am an information technology specialist at EduTech, which is the Educational Services Division within North Dakota Information Technology. With me is Tyler Ward.
Good morning, everyone.
And he is also an information technology specialist with EduTech. NDIT is doing whatever possible to ensure that the entities we support are able to function in a wide variety of situations. For K-12 schools, we know our North Dakota administrators and educational personnel are carefully navigating how to proceed with classes, communication, and collaboration while addressing concerns around COVID-19. EduTech's mission remains to provide technology services and leadership to improve teaching and learning in North Dakota pre-K-12. We are continuing that mission by providing this webinar series and are here to support our North Dakota K-12 community with support, training, and resources. This webinar is available for EduTech hours that can be turned in for graduate credit. Once you've accumulated 15 EduTech hours, you can turn that into 1 graduate credit with our NDSU partnership. We want to make sure these hours are available to as many people as possible. Please use the link on your screen to formally register. We will use this to gather participant information today. If you do not have a K-12 email account, guest users can add their name and email into the chat along the side, and we will double check that information to make sure as many folks as possible are included. Note that if you view this recording later, you may not be eligible to receive credit, but please contact us if you are still interested. So let's begin. Today's webinar is on coding activities that can be done from home. We will be navigating to NICERC.org today to learn more about how you can use this powerful classroom tool. So I am going to start sharing my screen. Move things around a little bit. Okay. And here we go. So NICERC.org. Through a grant from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security's CISA office, NICERC develops and distributes curriculum to teachers across the country. NICERC stands for the National Integrated Cyber Education Research Center. They are located in Bossier City, Louisiana. If you look down at the bottom, you can see their contact information, and have partnered with EduTech in about 2018. EduTech now teaches cyber teacher courses around North Dakota on behalf of NICERC. When schools started transitioning to online learning, NICERC went through the curriculum to find easy projects that would really transition well from the classroom to a home learning environment. These are projects you as a teacher can do with your students, or you can recommend to parents for a fun educational and family experience. So they have their sliders going across. If you just went to NICERC, NICERC.org, and you scrolled across, we found the NICERC at home. So if we just click on this View Activities button, it will take us into their cyber learning at home. And so there's just a little bit of details up here. They have a webinar where their curricula team and the Palo Alto networks introduce the page and some activities. So NICERC also has a few options for you to view what they have done. But as I keep scrolling down, I see that we have the first area listed and it says all grade levels. And so there are some activities in here that we might be familiar with. There's the Pringles Can Enigma. We've done these in workshops. So you basically take their Pringles Enigma sheet and you make a little Enigma machine. And you can do that with a little Pringles can or a larger Pringles can. Other options that they have on this page as well are the Pigpen Cipher. This is another familiar one that we've done. So Pigpen Cipher, it's another fun one that your students can do with their families. And I've actually heard of a few people that have done the Pigpen Cipher or the Enigma machine at home, and they are having a lot of fun with it. The Cipher Disc Challenge, we've done these a lot of times in our classes too that we've taught. So there is more details about the Cipher Disc Challenge. But the one that I want to talk to you guys the most about today is the Capture the Flag. So the Capture the Flag is right here. This is a weekly competition. And so it opens each Monday at 12 noon Eastern time and then closes again on Friday at noon Eastern time. They don't have a competition happening this week, but if you go to this link right here, this activity link, it will take you to their social distancing Capture the Flag, CTF. As I mentioned, they took the week off, but next week we can definitely join in Capture the Flag. So Capture the Flag competitions are used to train on encryption, hacking, and overall cybersecurity, and are also how real-world cybersecurity teams train. The questions students will encounter are trivia-style questions ranging from math to from math to cryptography. There might be some search questions, so they'll have to go out online and search for the correct answer. And there's also some puzzles that are involved. So it's kind of like Jeopardy style questions that they'll be answering. Once a student gets a question correct, they can move on to the next question, or they can even pass a question and move to a different question if they're stumped on something. But they just have to keep trying to figure out what the correct answer for the question is. And once they get that answer right, they get points for that question. So students can work at their own pace throughout the competition. The competition is free. And so, as I mentioned, it starts at noon Eastern time, it's 11 our time, 11 a.m. our time. And so, as you could see, I had clicked on this link right here. So I'm back on that NICERC at home. So I clicked on this activity link first. Then I went into the social distancing and I clicked on the click here for more information or for information on how to use this environment. And that took me into the NICERC Capture the Flag page. And so the special feature, CTF, so social distancing, Capture the Flag right here. If you are interested in joining this for next week, you're more than welcome to. So the teachers are also welcome to join, invited. Parents can join. Everybody can pretty much join. So when you do that, you'll click enter the CTF, and because it's a week off, they don't have any information about signing up for this week, but there are some really cool things that you can do with this. You'll notice that the Minot Barksdale Capture the Flag competition happened. So students at Barksdale and Minot Air Force bases use solving problem skills to answer questions, and they earn points for their home base. Barksdale actually won the competition, but Minot had more students competing. So both were winners in our books. And NICERC actually acknowledged that when they announced the winners last week and on their Facebook Live page. So they actually said, hey, yeah, Minot, you guys did awesome too. So they both ended up winning. I think they won some microbits. So that was pretty cool. Going back to this NICERC at home, as I keep scrolling down, I get to elementary students. So up here it was all grade levels. As I keep coming down, we have elementary students. And so they actually posted their STEAM Fundamentals Habitats curriculum on this NICERC at home page. And so some of you might have seen this before because it's in part of the elementary curriculum for STEAM Fundamentals. And so what they do is, this is fun science that students can do at home. There is a parent-teacher guide. So one thing that we've heard is that parents want the answers, that they just don't have those answers while they're working from home. And then there's also the student version as well. So there are two different versions, the parent guide and the student guide. And this is just a great activity book to keep students learning about science and habitats. So I pulled up the teacher example, and so I scrolled into it a little ways, and as you can see, there are some examples in here. And then there's also science journal options. So these are things that students wouldn't see on their handbook. So if I come into the student one and I come down a little ways, so they have this science journal here, but if I'm in the teacher version, here we go. So some of these websites, students might not see all of these website options along the side. So they have some of the side information, but not all of it. And they definitely don't have all of the answers on their sheet as well. But it's really cool because they do have some links to take you to things like understanding what an emperor penguin is. And so the student would come down to the penguin section and they would go to these links, and same links for both the parents and the students. And if I go into that link, we get to learn all about the emperor penguin and where they live and what they look like. There's some videos in here. So the students are learning by doing some research. They're learning how to do that research in a fun way so that the teacher actually has some directions for them to go and learn a little bit more about the penguins, and the parents can also follow along in their teacher version of this curriculum. So it's pretty cool that they have this curriculum available for our students. The next thing that I'm going to show you guys as I keep coming down, well, there's the Keep It Safe matching game. This is actually a really cool game because it talks about what the security options are for what device. So for example, on your cell phone, you would have a passcode on your cell phone. You have a key to get into your house. So these are pretty cool matching games that your children can work on at home as well. Okay, so getting into the middle school curriculum, they actually have quite a few things, or a few more things in here. So we have 4 ideas in the middle school area. And, oh, okay, sorry. One more thing about the cyber, but the elementary stuff, they have cyber pop-outs, so you can still get some cyber curriculum developed at those elementary grade levels. Sorry about that. Middle school though, but I want to show you computational thinking. So computational thinking, they are working on paper airplanes. So we get to have fun with this. So we get to create our own paper airplanes. Students are going to design, build, and test their paper airplanes, figure out what goes the farthest. If you click on this link right here, it will take you into their computational thinking, paper airplanes, NICERC at home. So it has some information in here. It has your learning goals. It has vocabulary. It gives them some options to research the problem. So you have your identifying the problem. So engineering design process, we're familiar with this if we've worked with any of the middle school curriculum. So you identify that problem. You get some new vocabulary words built in, and then you start researching it. So there are some different websites then, if you go back to the NICERC page, that students can go to research some of these ideas. And so researching these ideas, things like Ford's assembly line. History Channel has information about Ford's assembly line, so students can understand how to create that assembly line and mass produce airplanes for your paper airplanes. There's also a site about how to make paper airplanes. So you might make this paper airplane because this is a standard traditional paper airplane, or you might make something a little bit different that might be a little bit stealthier and go a little further. I have no idea if these actually work or not. I was just following along on one of the pages that I found. But anyway, there are some really cool activities then that go along with this. We have the research, you brainstorm solutions, you figure out what works the best, And they are identifying the problem, testing, evaluate, and then giving you your final product after they've improved and redesigned it. So there's some other activities that go along, or some other challenges that go along, and they can get as creative as they want with this. So it's a fun activity for our students to work on, and you're still getting them to look at some of that science ideas, some of those science ideas and math and how data is analyzed and collected. So it's a good way of looking at real world problems at the middle school level. So coming back into the NICERC at home, they've done some stuff with the egg drop. Egg drop is usually a really popular activity at middle school level. And then they have trace route and networking map demonstration and cyber society media literacy, which you can also find down here in the high school area. High school, they've also added in cyber communities for citizen scientists and the Fourth Amendment, but I want to look at this media literacy. So if I come into media literacy, we have cyber society at home for media literacy. This is really an important topic right now because you are defining what media literacy is. You are looking at what's real and what's fake. This is really an important topic right now, just because there is so many different news sources putting out different information, and I've even caught myself falling into the misinformation trap of what people are posting online. So it's easy to get caught up in it. So we really need to talk to our students about what does it mean to be media literate? How do citizens demonstrate media literacy? What's fake? How do we establish credibility? So they have their CARS credibility in here. Looking at URLs and what it all stands for. Doing the reverse image search. So this is actually really important to understand how to do that reverse image search, and then the role of journalism in a democracy. What is a conspiracy? What is fake science? What is a parody? Propaganda? These are all terms that as adults we may be familiar with, but some of our students, they don't understand that what they find like an interesting news story might actually just be a parody or fake news. So they have some details and some really good conversations that you can start with your students and get them researching. So there is also some activities in here, so they can visit this minimumwage.com, answer some questions, find some research, look at media bias. This is really important to understand where different news organizations sit on different media bias scales. So this is all sides is one option. There's a few other options that I've recommended over the years. So we have a few options going on here. Okay. So let's go back to the NICERC homepage. Let's see, I just lost what I was doing. So the homepage, or the NICERC homepage, I want to just take you guys through what they have on their homepage right now. So I'm going to go back to their homepage. So I'm just clicking on the NICERC link at the top. When I click or hover over events, we see the Cyber Education Discovery Forum. The Cyber Education Discovery Forum, this is a conference they hold every summer, and unfortunately due to COVID, we are actually having to they are having to postpone it. It was going to be held in Minneapolis, which we were really excited about because it's drivable for us, and that doesn't happen too often. But instead of having the face-to-face conference, they are actually going to virtualize it. So they are having 4 days of virtual CEDF, the Cyber Education Discovery Forum, and same dates, 1 date longer, so it's June 22nd through the 25th. And so as I scroll down, we have a virtual attendee, so it's only $35. So really inexpensive to attend the conference. It's virtual, and depending on you can get some, they will be sending some supplies to you if you register for specific sessions. So this is a schedule every day. They have broken it out so that we have a breakout session every morning. We have some free time. And then in the mornings, there will be either block-based coding with a microbit for elementary or cybersecurity. In the afternoon, we get block-based coding with microbit for middle school or cyber society. And then Palo Alto will also be hosting a cybersecurity academy during that time as well. And then there's free time, and then there's another breakout session in the afternoon from 4 to 5. And so this schedule, they're working really hard to figure out what works best for these breakout sessions. It's all going to be over Zoom, so it's a way for us to still get that cyber training without putting ourselves at risk. And so if you come down a little further, you'll see the workshop descriptions. And so some of these do have supplies that will be mailed out to you. And so they do need to get an accurate count sooner than later. And so they have had quite a few people registering. So we really encourage you to register as soon as you can. Under teacher resources, Suite events, cyber education discovery forum. It's under teacher resources again. The Enigma machine is also under here, so that's the Pringles Enigma. But we also have cyber career profiles. The cyber career profiles are a great way to show our students what is available. So they have these different cyber profile cards. And so these are a great way to show your students what they can do with different levels of education. So for some of these, if you're looking at cybercrime investigator, no, they don't need a degree. Let me see, it should come up. There we go. No, they don't need a degree. Certifications are encouraged, but they can still do well with this type of career. But then you get into something like cyber legal advisor, you're going to need your law degree to do something like this. Or if you get into IT project manager, you'll also need a bachelor's degree. So there are different levels of work that you can do with this. And the great thing is that they don't all require degrees. So if you have students that might need to explore other options than going to a four-year college, you should encourage them to check out some of these cyber career options. Okay, so that's under teacher resources. They have a blog, and the NICERC blog is actually really great. They've put out press releases, so they have this press release here. This is a large grant the Department of Defense awarded NICERC, and they are working with the Minot Air Force Base and the Barksdale Air Force Base down in Bossier City, and working with both those air bases, communities that support those air bases, to provide special cyber training to students in those, or to teachers and students in those school districts. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is the Curricula Access. So to get access to the curriculum, if you want more than what is on their at-home page, you can actually come here under Curricula. There's a Curricula Access button. When I click on that, it will take me to a page that I can fill in my contact information. So I'll fill in my name, where I'm located at, what kind of school I teach in. They basically want to verify that, yes, you are a teacher in the US. And so this will actually sign you up for a Canvas account through NICERC. And so once you get logged in, or once you get confirmation about this, you can get logged in. So you can log in as an existing user. And when I get logged in, it will take me up to my dashboard. And so this is what my dashboard looks like. And I might have a few things that you guys don't have, but it's really nice to be able to come in here and say, okay, yeah, they do have a full Algebra 1 course. They have Cyber Fundamentals. This is where you can start working with the microbit. And so if you are interested in learning more about the microbit, we will have a workshop tomorrow, or a webinar tomorrow, just on the web, just on the microbit. So you can learn more about the microbit, and then you can come in here and check out the activities that they have for the microbit with MakeCode. So very, very basic activities that you can get started with. And then as you keep going in, there's microbit Python. And then as you keep progressing, you can get to the Cyberbot, and that's the little robot that is run on the microbit. So it's pretty easy to get registered for this, and it's easy to come in here, and I can come back out to my dashboard and check out what they have in other courses. So Cyber Society, that is where the media literacy is located at. So if I come into Cyber Society, these activities are probably pretty easy to bring into your distance classroom. And so media literacy is over here. There's some ethics and communities, business and AI, law, politics, terrorism. These are all good conversations to be having with our students right now. STEM EDA is their middle school curriculum, and that was where we got the paper airplanes from. And so there are other activities in here. We have heard of, actually I shouldn't say we have, NICERC has heard of some schools that were using this curriculum, and they are continuing to use it from distance with distance learning. Some of it does have to be modified, but for the most part, like, kids are having fun with it. They are figuring it out and using things that they have around their own homes to complete this curriculum. So I think that is everything. Okay, so Erin had a question. I see that. Are we able to post the NICERC curriculum on our Google Classroom? Yes. Erin, because you are posting it to your Google Classroom or into your Teams class, you can definitely do that because you're working with your students. If you were to be publishing it on like your personal, like a public website, I'd probably say that's not the best idea. So because it is a controlled environment, it is for your student use, that is definitely okay to post into your Google Classroom. Any other questions about NICERC before I hand it over to Tyler? Okay, well, I'm going to stop presenting. I'm back in here.
All right, thank you, Jill. I'll just give me 1 second here to change screens for you. All right, Jill, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. All right, good morning, everyone. As Jill mentioned, my name is Tyler Ward. I am an information technology specialist with Jill and the rest of our team here with EduTech. Today, I'm going to take you to the code.org website to show you about all the different activities you can do at home during this time. So from the home page, if you were to click on Learn, and then in the center of the screen, you will see a text card about learning computer science from home. You'll click on Get Started. And now you are presented with a bunch of options that they have curated for you to share with your students at home. So to get started with, they'll show you a short video just explaining how to do some activities at home. And as we continue down the page, you can see here they have what they call take a code break at home with the founder Hattie here, and he sits with in his kitchen really with his daughter and brings special guests on, and they talk about various activities that students can do from home. So we'll click on Learn More to see what's happening there. And so these coding activities with him happen every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which is actually going to be at noon Central Time or 11 a.m. Mountain Time if you are on the western side of the state. These meetings are held on Zoom, so you can sign up for them and add them to your calendar as well as a reminder. And then any past episodes that you may have missed are recorded, and then they're shared via the YouTube channel for code.org. So you can see here, they've already talked about algorithms, prototypes, encryption. You can see here the cipher wheel was used. So Jill mentioned that a second ago. And then they have a couple more here coming. This one here, episode 5 with Bill Gates, I listened to part of that. It was very interesting to get his take on how data is used to drive decision-making skills. And then this one that happened just yesterday was about the internet. So again, you can come here to view them at your leisure. So we'll go back up here, take a step back. Now some hour of code activities you can try with your students at home are listed here. So there's dance party, Minecraft, AI for oceans. You can create your own Flappy Bird game, and then astronomy. So some pretty fun stuff there. If I were to share the dance party one with my students, I'll be taken to the page. I can get started with and begin exploring myself. As a teacher, if I want to make this into a lesson, they have a lesson plan already built for you. It'll take you into their curriculum, and all of your resources are here. So they give you a time frame of roughly how long it takes to complete each section, and then some preparation you may want to practice with your kids, and then any fun links and vocabulary to try as well. And then just a lesson plan, again, that is built for you to save time. If I were to go back one more time, they also have an unplugged activity. So if your students have limited access at home, maybe they have a single computer or maybe the internet's kind of slow, you can also assign them unplugged activities. And this will teach them the same concepts as they would get from the computer, but in a hands-on setting. And again, they make a lesson plan for you and everything, and really do a nice job of laying everything out here. So in this case, for the unplugged activity, the students would actually use cutouts that you would send to them, and they would eventually create their own dance in person and then record it and send it to you. And code.org has done a great job of making a Spotify playlist that's free for the students to use to have something to dance to in the background. So again, pretty fun stuff happening here. As we continue to go down on this page, you will see here they have also given you some videos to share with students to talk about concepts. So like, how does a computer work, or what is the internet? These are very informational. I think I spent a little too much time one day researching on this topic and got sucked into a lot of these videos, but I learned a lot. It was simply amazing, and I could spend more time than I need to today explaining that. As we continue to go on down here, they have also given you access to their curriculum. So the Express course is for ages 9 through 18. So they will test their coding skills, and they recommend roughly you try to go about 20 hours. But again, during this time, as much time as your students need is great. And they also have a pre-reader section here. This is for students who aren't quite able to read able to read the best yet. So they use directional arrows and certain colors to show the students their code as they begin to build it. And then as we get towards the end, they have what is called the App Lab. So students can go out and create their own apps and share them with you. So for example, this one here is an event-driven program to decide what to eat. So we can try it out here. And you will have to sign in with your account just so they know that you are a user. And this takes you into their classroom setting here, and you can see all the lessons and everything that it takes. Now, if your students are having limited computer access at home, but they do have access to a smartphone, they can try out some of these recommended apps. The first one is called Box Island, and this is where you are a box. You're actually this blue character. You get dropped on a deserted island, and your goal is to save your friends by using different coding blocks. And I actually played through this and got to level 10, and then after that they asked that I start paying for a subscription. So it's a great introduction if you want to have your students practice just a little bit of coding at home, but it's a very, very good resource. Same with CodeSpark. This is great for ages 5 through 9. They are offering a three-month free trial right now for parents, so they can have their kids practice some coding at home on their phone. And then for your upper level students, such as middle school or high school, you can use what is called Grasshopper, and this teaches them how to use JavaScript to create various activities. I played on a little bit of this yesterday, and I got through the first few lessons, and it was really interesting just to see the different coding aspect that it takes to write out a command versus using in Block Island just a simple arrow direction block to make your character do something. And then lastly here, if your students have limited or again no internet access, there are two great unplugged activities. The first one is called Hello Ruby. So if you were to select this link, you were taken to their website here. So Hello Ruby is a website that will let you print off items and cut them out to do various coding activities. So as you can see here, there's just lots of options. Let's say you wanted to try a decoding ring with your students. You will click on the option there, and they give you the directions here on what it is that it takes to build this decoder ring, and then they will also give you the downloads or in a PDF style to cut out and share with your students as well. So again, they have lots of activities in here. I could spend more time than I need to show them all to you, but they do a really great job of explaining concepts such as computational thinking. So what steps it takes to complete a goal, how to debug, which is where you will find the error and then correct it, so the program works in the manner that it was intended. And then on the top of the page here, they have an option called Teach. And they have lots of episodes where they talk more about computer concepts such as coding, data and algorithms, the platform called Scratch, how networks are created and work, and so forth. And as a teacher, you can download the teacher journal here to your machine and take a look at it and dive further into their curriculum. The last option I would like to show you is called CS Unplugged. So by clicking on this link, you are sent to their at-home CS Unplugged activities. And so right off the bat, you're presented with three options, the card flip magic, barcode magic, and then count the dots. I actually went through the barcode magic one and ended up tearing apart my cabinets. And my wife was like, "What are you doing?" And I told her about this activity, and I think I sat at the island for over an hour learning how barcodes use a special number combination to check to make sure that you are scanning the correct item and being charged the correct amount. And so what happens is with the barcode, you have a 13 or 12 digit number, and you will separate it into two lines, an upper and a lower. So as this code reads from left to right, 9, 4, 0, and so forth. 9 is the first or the top letter or number, 4 is the bottom number, and you continue down the line. And then by the end, You do a little bit of math to just figure out what is the last number. And so in this example, they say the last number is 9 using the math equation. As you can see here, 9 is that magic number. So I thought that was really neat to see. Oh, there it is. Please go away. I guess that bar doesn't want to leave me. I have my other tab open. So if you go to csunplugged.org, this is their official website. So you can see they have printables, curriculum guides, and stuff for educators. The activities from home, this is what we just viewed. Then they've also have their classic website here. Another activity I found just by going through their activities list here was called sorting networks. I thought this was really interesting. So in this activity at home, students will be able to sort items based on a principle of greater than or less than. So in this example here, you can see students are drawing out a chalk path. So this is a great activity to take outside for the kids. But what's happening here is students are paired up and they have numbers. You could do this with letters, you could do this with colors, doesn't matter. But what's going to happen is these students are paired up and then they go to the next box and they will ask each other the question, you know, greater than or less than, and then if your number is greater than, you continue forward. If you're less than, then you follow the line. And as the students continue to go through, when they get to the end, you'll see they have organized themselves in numerical value from lowest to highest. So again, another great fun activity that students can do at home, especially if they have siblings and need to get out of the house, or if they want to practice that on their own, they totally can as well. So do we have any questions on any of these unplugged activities or coding activities from code.org that students can do at home during this time? Okay, hearing none, then I will end our webinar series for the day.
Hold.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there.
Yeah, no, sorry. Before you end the webinar, you know, I just want to really emphasize, like, some of these activities, they set them up for specific grade levels. You don't always have to go into that one specific grade level with your students. Just because something might be set as a second grade level doesn't mean a first grader can't do it. Perfect example of that, my nephew's a first grader, and my sister, she was looking for some activities to do at home, and I suggested the NICERC curriculum because it is, even though it's a second grade reading or second grade level, there's a lot of things that she definitely could be doing with her son and his siblings actually as well during this time. So you know, definitely check everything out. And even if it's something that might be too high or too low for your student's grade level, it doesn't hurt to check it out and to work with those students on that. Tyler, this is like not working for me. Just
wanted to just make sure we could see you.
You could have just closed out.
All right, so thank you so much for that, Jill. I'm just gonna change my slide here.
Thanks, Aaron.
All right, thank you again, everyone, for attending today's webinar. As always, please know that we're here to assist you in being successful. And please do not hesitate to contact our help desk using the email address help@k12.nd.us for any support and virtual training inquiries that you have. The resources here at the bottom of the page, you will see is a bit.ly link to a Wakelet I made for coding resources that you can do at home. So please check that out as well. And we again, thank you for your time.
And we will also stick around if you have any other additional questions.